Let's start. Uh, we will talk about unattachment. So, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So, today, primarily, we will talk about unattachment. And if you have any question, uh, or if you want to discuss about something else, then we can discuss it later on, after this. So, first of all, I thank Chika for inviting me. And this is my first time that I'm talking to uh, the devotees of Bhagwan from East Asian countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, or Singapore. So it's a great pleasure and a great privilege to be with you all. So today uh, we are going to discuss about unattachment. What is unattachment and how can we practice unattachment, and what does unattachment do? Why is this practice so important? So before going into unattachment, let us talk about what is attachment. So if you understand what is attachment, then the process of unattachment becomes very easy. So this is the world that we have, in front of us. When we open our eyes, we see a lot of things. So this is the universe, or this is the world, or you know, in the language of Vedanta, it's called Jagat, or the world. Now, this world basically consists of two things. One is name, and the other is form. So, the name and form consists the world or universe. Now, name and form of what? So, name and form of objects. Like there are five objects. So these five objects has name and form, which we gather inside us, and by this, this process of attachment happens. So what are the five objects? The five objects are form. That is each and every substance or things or human being that we see, or sentient or insentient, whatever we see outside in this world, they have got a form. So this number one is form. Then the number two is touch, sound. So either they have sound or they don't have sound. So there is the second, you know the second object is sound. The third object is smell. Fourth is taste, and the fifth is touch. So these are the five objects. So this, the world consists of five objects: name, form, sound, smell, taste, and touch. So whatever world consists of these five things. Now we have five senses. So with these five senses, these are like windows. With these five senses, we communicate, we connect with the world. So we have got eyes. So these eyes is a sense organ. Ears is a sense organ. Nose is a sense organ. Tongue is a sense organ. And skin is a sense organ. So they are the five sense organs. With these five sense organs, we communicate with the external world, we connect with the external world, and we disconnect also with the external world. So the first window of ours, which has got a direct contact with the world, is these five senses. So with eyes, we can perceive the form. So the first subject was form. The first object was form. So that object is perceived by our eyes. Number two is ears. So with these ears, we can perceive sound. which is the second object. Then nose. This is the third sense organ. With this nose, we can perceive smell. So smell is the third object. Then taste. With our tongue, we can perceive taste. So it's a fourth object. And skin is the fifth one. And with skin, we can perceive uh, touch. So these are the five sense organs which are like windows, which work like windows, which through which we perceive this world. Now, what does these five senses do? These five senses are like cameras. They see and they record them. Whatever, like cameras, this CCTV camera. What do? They not only see them, but they record them. So how is this recording process happen? This recording process happens by the information that they gather in the outside. They take those informations and they send the informations into the hard disk. And in that hard disk, all these informations are stored or saved. Okay, if you need any information, you can go directly to the hard disk and put the date, this time, the information is going to come. So in the same way, these five organs, they are like CCTV cameras. They record each and everything that they encounter. Like, suppose you are going to the market. You went to the market from your house to the market, like it's like, suppose it's like 2 kilometers, and you went to the market, walking. So on the way, you have met a lot of people. You've seen a lot of people. They are also going with you, or they are coming in the opposite direction. And because your eyes are open, you've seen everybody. But when you come back, you know, if somebody asks you that, did you see that person? Did you see that person? If you don't know them, you cannot recollect. You cannot recollect. If you want to recollect how many people I saw while I was going to the market, and while I was in the market, and while I came back, you can, roughly estimate something this much. But if you are told that, can you recollect them? You cannot. You cannot. That means that, all the informations have been saved. But because your awareness was somewhere else, that is why you did not notice them, though they are all saved. So now, this awareness aspect we are going to come later on. So when I am encountering, every aspect of my life, whatever I am encountering or whatever I'm coming across, these are all recorded and saved. So these recordings happens, with the cameras, and these five sensors are those cameras. So they take this information and they send the information to a place called mind stuff, which is called, in Vedantic terms, which is called chitta. So in this chitta, or in this mind stuff, each and every information that is gathered, that is received, they are all saved there. Okay. So then we say that we have, after senses, there is another thing called mind. So, we deal with the mind. So what is a mind? Mind means thoughts. Many thoughts, a group of thoughts is called, or the cluster of thoughts is called mind. So where does this thought come from? I don't know. I only see the end product. I only see the, total formation of the thought, which comes to me, which comes to my awareness. But when this thought was created, or where this thought is created, I am not aware about that. So, these thoughts are created somewhere. From that place, these thoughts are transported into a space called mind. And this mind is, in front of my awareness, in front of me, and I can see those thoughts. But where from these thoughts are coming? These thoughts are coming from the mind stuff. the place where all these informations are recorded, all the informations, all the informations that we encounter in our day-to-day life, all these informations, where it is stored is called mind stuff, and that is where each and every thought are produced. And these mind stuff, after producing these thoughts, they send them, you know send them into our mind. And then I see, this is this thought, this is that thought, this thought. And all day I think, but I'm not aware about each and every thought. I'm aware about some, but I'm not aware about each and every thought. So this is the mind stuff. Mind stuff creating thoughts, and it comes to the mind. Then there is, intellect. Then there's another aspect of ours, which is called intellect. What is intellect does? This, this mind stuff, where the mind is created, they create two, contradictory thoughts. Like if one is yes, then the other will be no. And they send these two contradictory thought into this space of mind. So it's not that they are only sending one kind of thought, they will send you set of thoughts. One set of thoughts, the pair of opposites. Like one will tell you that I want to go to the market, and the next one will tell you I don't want to go to the market. So these two will come together, the pair of opposites. So there is this intellect, which which decides what to do, which one to choose. Whether I'm going to choose that I want to go to the market, I'm going to choose this one, or I'm going to choose this, that I don't want to go to the market. So whatever the intellect chooses, we do that one. So senses, then mind, and then intellect. And the fourth one is called ego. What is, I am go the thought has come that I want to go to the market, and the intellect has chosen that I want to go to the market. So the process of going to the market starts. But while I am going to the market, there is another one which says I am doing this thing. But this false, this false sense of ownership, the false sense of ownership, or the false sense of the being the doer, also comes, and that is called ego. That I am doing this, I am doing that, I am not doing this, I am not doing that, I am eating, I am sleeping. Everything is happening according to thoughts which are coming from the mind stuff. And the intellect is choosing what to do, and this is how every work is done. But the intellect is always getting imposed on them, and claiming that these these actions are done by the ego. And this is how the whole thing happens. So now these are the four things that we have to deal with. One is the senses, other is the mind, third is intellect, and fourth is ego. Now where does this attachment actually happens? These four are the tools. They are not me, they are my tools. Like I am undergoing a journey from earth to, so I sit in the rocket, and I have all these machines, and I'm operating I am operating that rocket. That rocket is enabling me to navigate my way from earth to moon. Okay, but it is not the rocket which is moving from earth to moon. It is also me. I am also there. I am the i am the traveler. The rocket cannot travel on its own, because it is matter. It does not have any intelligence. I have that intelligence. It is me who wants to go there, so I am the actual traveler. But you know but I am doing it with the help of this rocket, which is a compilation of machines, many kind of machines, many kind of computers, everything. They make this rocket, and I go to the moon through this rocket. Okay, so in this way, in the similar way, the self or consciousness is undergoing a journey. It's a journey from life to life, in the pursuit to understand, to know himself. It's not, it's not a journey from, it's not a journey to know this world. It is not a journey to know any other outer world. The whole journey of birth and death, you know, this is happening only to discover myself, or discover, that is, the self is undergoing this journey to discover itself. Okay, the self means self or consciousness. So the consciousness is undergoing this journey to discover, you know, its conscious nature. At while he is undergoing this journey, he is using these tools: senses, mind, intellect, and ego. These are the four tools. He's using these tools, and with these tools, he is navigating his way from birth to birth, or birth to death, again death to rebirth, again rebirth to re-death. In this way, till he at one point finds himself. So the attachment, where is this attachment coming from? This attachment happens from the senses, these sense objects attached to the the external world. The external world means form, touch, taste, smell, and sound. So these five senses, they go and get attached to them. Okay, then they bring this, while they get attached to them, they bring this information into the mind stuff. So the mind stuff thoughts, and they send it to the mind. So when they send it to the mind, because whatever information came inside through the senses, they are also the objects. So the mind stuff, it just processes these objects, and they create thoughts. So what is these thoughts? These thoughts also are objects with a mixture of consciousness. So they make, primarily they are these objects. So they process these objects, and they send it in the form of thoughts. Because they come in the form of thoughts, or they come in the form of thoughts, or they come, what is these thoughts? These thoughts are desires. These thoughts are needs. You see your thought, every thought, you will see each and every thought is a need. I want to do this, I don't want to do this. I want to go here, I don't want to go here. I want to talk about this, I don't want to about this. I want to talk to him, I don't want to talk to him. So every thought which comes, these thoughts are a necessity, a need, or a desire. Okay, so because they are the desires, the mind also gets attached to these thoughts. So the attachment is happening from in the place of senses, in the place of mind, and in the place of intellect. All because these four tools, they are actually using this information, using the object, and because they are using these objects, they are getting attached to these, and thus they get corrupted. Now, you know this is what is happening. But this is not a problem at all, because when the intellect or the ego or the mind or the senses are getting attached to the objects of the external world, even if they are getting attached to the objects of the external world, I am not getting attached to them, because I am neither the mind nor the senses or the intellect or the ego. So if they get attached to them, then also I am not affected, but I see that I am affected. Now, how do I get affected? Like, we know about mobile. So mobile phones, cell phones, mobile phones, they are a device. They're a machine. With that machine, we can do a lot of work. So that is machine means it's a compilation of many programs. It has got many programs, it has got many functions, and it can do whatever, whatever it has to do. It has got a lot of algorithms, everything. So it works among itself, and it the results which we want from them. But that mobile is actually working because of a battery. There's a power behind it. If you take away the battery from the mobile phone, and it might be the latest and the most costliest mobile in the world, with all the technologies which are needed, which one might think, all the new technologies, all the modern technologies, cutting edge technologies is there in the mobile phone. Camera, very high tech camera, sound quality, this, that, everything is very, very high tech. But that mobile phone does not have any battery. Does it make any sense? It will not make any sense, because that phone is not going to work. This battery, it provides power, and with that power, each and every program, each and every program within the mobile phone, each and every functions within the mobile phone, each and every sub devices within the mobile phone, they gets activated, and because they can work. Without power, it will not work. In the same way, this mind, this intellect, this ego, or the senses, they are getting, they are coming in contact with the world, they are coming in contact with the objects, they get attached to the objects, okay? But they are capable of doing all this work because they are given a force, they are given power, they are given consciousness, and with the help of that consciousness, they can work. You know, the senses, mind, intellect, and ego, they get activated only because of the presence of consciousness. When the consciousness gets attached to the senses can work. When the consciousness gets attached to the mind can work. When it gets attached to the intellect and ego, they can work. If they are not getting, if they don't get connected with the all these tools, that is intellect, mind, and senses, if these cannot get in touch with, or cannot come in contact with the consciousness or awareness, then they cannot work, because their power is gone. They don't have power. So the power is given to them by the consciousness. This consciousness is me. This consciousness is you. So the attachment actually does not start from the mental level, because mind is a matter. It can only work because of my involvement with the mind, or my my getting related with the mind. The intellect can only work because of me. If I don't get you know if I don't get involved with the intellect, then the intellect cannot work. Same with ego. If I don't get attached to the ego, then the ego cannot work. And if I don't get attached to the senses also cannot work. So what is happening is, I have to give power to all of these. I have to give power to all of these. I have to give power to the senses. I have to give power to the mind. I have to give power to the intellect and the ego, so that they can function properly. And if they function properly, then only my navigation from this birth to death, and again rebirth, and again redeath, this can happen. And in this process, I can discover myself. So I have to give power to them, At the same time, I have to, I have to be aware that I don't get attached to them. So the attachment is happening from me, not from these. My mind, if my mind gets attached to anything, it's not my problem. It is bound to get attached because its characteristics are like this. The qualities of mind is this, that it has to get attached. If my intellect or my ego or my senses gets attached to anything of this world, it is not at all my problem. My problem starts when I get attached to the ego. How do I get attached to the ego? When I think myself to be a doer. When I start believing, though my ego is the one which creates this, which creates this sentiment, or which creates these feelings or awareness that I am the doer. But what is happening is that because I get attached to the ego, I become the doer. I become the doer, and you know, and then I have to suffer. The work of the intellect is to choose which one I have to, which one I have to take. Whether I have to take this right path or the left path, or I have to go in the middle. This is the work of the intellect. It has to choose. Now, when it is choosing, I get attached to the intellect, and I become the chooser. I don't let the intellect choose. I become the chooser, and that is how I get attached to the intellect. When it's in the mental level, when it is in the mental level, I am supposed to just observe the two options that has been given to me, A and B, but just without just experiencing, or without just witnessing these two options. What I do is I become attached to these two options, and I think that I'm part of these two options. That these two options are me. I'm part of this, and my destiny belongs to the belongs to this. Is depends upon these two options, and this is called my attachment with the mind. So I have to stop that one. Though I have to observe these two options which has been given to me, and I have to also observe the intellect to choose one of them. But I should not get attached to these two options. Okay, so this is the attachment that I have in my mental level. And the last one is the sensual level, or in the senses, that my senses gets attached to the objects, and they bring the information into my mind stuff. But while doing this, I become attached to the senses, and I think that I am the one who is the who is the who is actually who is actually who actually is supposed to get directly involved with the external objects. It is the senses which are designated for this work. They are designated for this work. They are the one which has to get connected with the external world and bring the information inside. But because I get attached to the senses, I think it's my responsibility to go and get attached to the world, and to bring back these informations. So then what happens? The information comes, but I get involved with each and everything. So this is called attachment. This is how this attachment happens. Now, detachment. How should I detach? Or what is called detachment? Detachment means that I have to let each and everything, each and every tools that I have, my senses, my mind, my intellect, and my ego. These are the four tools that I have. I have to let each and every tool work according to its characteristics, its nature. They has to work, according to the nature, while I remain as an observer. So this, if I think that in my day-to-day life, while I am busy with my job, in my office or in the external world, if I think that I have to remain as an observer while the mind and intellect and ego and the senses, they are going to do everything. And I won't get, I won't get involved to anything. This is very impossible to think at this point, but it can happen. Now, how can I practice this? The one part of this practice is during meditation, which we are going to discuss later on. How can we practice unattachment during our meditation? So this is something which we are going to discuss later on. Now let us discuss about this. How can I practice unattachment while I am doing some very insignificant work, those work which does not need too much involvement? Like when I wake up, I go to my toilet. So while I'm doing, I'm in the toilet, whatever I'm doing in the toilet, those does not need too much of my attention. It's all a natural process. Okay. So in these, in this aspect of my life where things happens on its own, then I am brushing the teeth. I don't need to be very, very particular. Oh, I'm brushing my teeth, I have to do this, I have to, no, it's just a, it's just a practice which I do every day, and which I do without even noticing, what I'm doing. And because I have so much practice about this, I don't need to watch while I'm, while I'm washing my teeth or while I'm brushing my teeth, what I'm doing, because it's a very natural to me. So while I'm brushing my teeth, or while I'm, making a coffee, or, just doing very, very negligible, some very trivial work, like cleaning my space, doing small things in my house in the morning. In these work which does not need to my attention, in these works I need to be consciously practicing unattachment. Like I am unattached while I'm doing all this. While I'm doing all this, I'm at unattached. But here, what is happening is that though I'm doing all this, my mind is getting attached to something else, some other, something else, some other thoughts or some other objects, where there is this attachment also. Though I'm unattached from here, I'm actually attached to somewhere else. So, this attachment is not going to work. I have to work, you know, I have to perform, I have to perform conscious unattachment. Like I'm brushing my teeth. While I'm brushing my teeth, I have to be aware that I am the observer, and this, what is happening on its own. I have to observe that process. That I am the observer. I'm the observer. I'm not the doer. I'm not brushing my teeth. This has been done by this body. This has been done by the body. By the body, on the body. On the body. Through the mind. Through the intellect. These are all done. But I am not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm just the observer of this. So, in this trivial work, I have to start being the observer. I have to start being the observer of these actions. That I am just the observer. I'm not the doer. I'm not a doer. I'm not involved. While I am doing these, I'm practicing these in my trivial, very unspecific, very unimportant works, I will suddenly see that, like when I'm going to the office, when I'm driving, but I'm thinking about something else. I'm driving. At the same time, I'm not driving. My mind is somewhere else. My mind is processing something else. That means my mind is not in driving. I have just, I have just made a decision to drive, and just left myself and left my mind, and my mind is doing, doing other stuff. It's thinking about other stuff. it's getting attached to some other things. So in those places, or I'm walking in the street. While I'm walking in the street, I am not aware that I'm walking. I am aware about something else. But at the same time, the process of walking is happening. Is happening. Where I have to turn, I see that I turn naturally. Nobody tells me, or I don't remain too much too much aware that I need to turn here, I need to turn there. No, it just happens because I am used to this. So while I'm doing this job, while I'm doing this work, my mind is actually getting attached to somewhere else. So in this job, I need to bring, I need to practice this, this conscious unattachment. While I'm walking, or while I'm driving, while I'm cooking, while I'm cooking, in these things, I need to remain as an observer. This is one. If you cannot remain as an observer in this, then what happens? Then please engage your mind into something consciously. Consciously, like chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Here, what is happening is that I am choosing to remain unattached from the actions, because I'm choosing to remain unattached from the actions. Then also, though I am not observing my actions, because I have chosen not to get attached to the actions that I'm doing, in this way also I am practicing unattachment. Ultimately, I will see that I have become capable of observing. I don't need the support of chanting. I don't need the support of any other things. Without support, I can just observe while I am doing this work, and slowly I will see that this will expand. This will expand, and you know this will expand into each and every aspect of my life. I'm working, I'm studying, I'm talking, I'm eating, I'm every aspect of my life. I will see slowly, with steadily, slowly and steadily, with gradually. I will see that you know this unattachment is maintained. I will see that I have really become the observer. I've really become the observer, and this is how, when you will see that you have really become the observer of everything that you are, all the actions that you are performing, that is unattachment. And this unattachment will, will help you, will help you to, to reveal your knowledge, to reveal the knowledge that is within you, to discover yourself. And not only that, after the discovery of the self, this unattachment will help you to stay in the self while you are doing each and every duties which are which are due for you in the world. One of the most important thing, or one of the most concerning things, that if I get attached to spirituality, if I practice spirituality, then is it how will I do the duties that I am supposed to perform? Because if my mind completely goes and gets absorbed into spirituality, then how am I going to do the job? How am I going to maintain my family? How I am going to earn? How I am going to prosper? Because my I cannot do that, because everything I do, I am doing with my mind. So if my mind is completely into spirituality, I'm the self. If I'm doing this, then how I am going to approach in the external world? So this is the answer. Everything will happen everything will happen. All the actions that I'm supposed to do in the external world, is all these actions are going to happen. All the duties that I'm going to serve, I'm supposed to serve in the external world, they are also going to be served, only if I am having a very firm practice of unattachment. So this is practicing unattachment while you are in your workspace. Okay, while you have, first of all, you have to choose those actions which are very trivial, which are non not important, non-specific work. If you can, you can do it, or you may not. In those work, just practice this, and slowly you will see that this practice is going to expand, and it is going to spread over all the other aspects of your life, and you will see at one point you are completely unattached from everything. But at the same time, you are doing each and every duties. You're performing all the duties better than before, because now you are aware about yourself. So whatever you are doing, every actions are bringing more results, more effective results. So this is the one. And the other thing that we said, that practicing unattachment while meditating, this is also something which you need to practice. When I meditate, or when I want to meditate, I see that I somehow get attached to my mind. My mind comes, and I get attached to the mind, and I forget about meditation. After some time, I remember that, oh, I'm meditating, and again I come back. Again, I just drift away with my mind. So this is how it's happening. So I can restrict this process with unattachment. Now, here also the same thing. Here I can engage my mind consciously into something else, so that I don't get attached to the mind, which is producing thoughts, which is producing desires, and I don't run after them. Like, I can choose to chant while I am meditating. I'm sitting in a meditation posture, and just to remain separate from the my mind, I am producing another mind. I'm producing another mind, and this mind is called japa, or chanting. And I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I'm chanting this. I'm chanting this means, this is what, this is creating another mind. I'm not going into that part of my mind. I'm here. I want to be here. So I'm creating this, and as I'm becoming more and more aware about this mind, then I see that I somehow get very very strong, and I don't need the support of this Hare Krishna anymore. Without this support also, I can just keep an eye into each and everything that I am doing. Like, I can meditate. Without the support of Hare Krishna, I can meditate. This is one part, of meditation, where I cannot uh, stop my mind to involve with the thoughts. So choose to uh, I choose uh, to chant, and in the process, I become very aware about this, and I don't need to chant anymore, because now I am stronger to just observe my thoughts. This is one part. And the other part is this, that I can directly observe my thoughts. I sit in the meditation, and I just look at my mind. I don't get involved with any thoughts that are produced in the mind. I'm just observing each and every thought that are coming, just remaining separate from them. I'm observing, and while I'm observing, I see that, like, the machine cannot work without power. Like, the machine cannot work without power. In this way, my mind cannot work without my attention. So if I am just I'm just the observer, then what is happening? I am not getting attached to the mind, and when I'm not getting attached to my mind does not get the necessary power to thrive, to expand, to grow. So what happens? It dies. Then another mind comes, and it tries to attract me. That is, it wants that power. If I am not getting attracted, if I just observe it from a distance, then what is happening? This mind also dies. because it did not receive power. So after some time, it will die. In this way, the entire mind that is within me dies. Dies. I'm just the observer. And when the mind dies completely, that means all matter part is dead. So when the matter part is dead, then the conscious part reveals itself. It's already there, but because of the matter part, I don't see the conscious part. So when there is no matter part, then there is only conscious part, and that is the goal of spirituality, samadhi. So this is the small, uh, idea about attachment, unattachment, how to practice unattachment. And while I am practicing attachment, what is happening is that I become one with the consciousness. Or when I am practicing unattachment, I see that I am always that supreme consciousness. I'm always that absolute consciousness, and I become what I am. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask.
Thank you, Swamiji. Beautiful class. I'm not from Asia, but I'm still there.
You're from where?
Lanneke from Holland.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I don't see anybody, because I'm just seeing the
Ah,
screen.
I
Mm.
understand. Lenneke, not Ineke.
Oh,
Lenneke
you're
from
Lenika.
Holland.
Okay. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, I made time to follow the classes again from you. So it was good. Thank you, Swamiji. I
Yes.
have a question, maybe an easy question, but
Yeah, yeah,
like
sure.
observing when you do these casual things like brushing your teeth or cooking or whatever. I am just imagining when you're brushing your teeth, how do you observe? So what are you doing or what are you not doing? Just trying
See,
to
when
imagine.
you're brushing your teeth, what are you doing actually? You're just giving a command to your body that I need to brush my teeth. And then what you do, you think about something else. You don't brush your teeth like I'm brushing my teeth and I'm watching. I'm not doing. Nobody does it in this way. We just give a command to the mind that I need to brush my teeth, and the body, follows it, and the body follows it. Sometimes I might be aware if something is if something is wrong somewhere, then I become aware a little bit about that. But mostly what happens is that I am completely unaware about the process of brushing my teeth because my mind is somewhere else. My mind is thinking about something else. So we are talking about that mind which is engaged into some other thought while I am carrying on a job. I am brushing my teeth while I'm thinking about what I'm going to speak in my office. How
Yeah.
I'm going to, I'm going to cook my breakfast or my meal, and or how I'm going to go to the office. Either I'm going by car or by train or whatever. I'm always doing this, or what I'm going to
Yeah.
use with my money, where I'm going to invest. So these are the things that we get. We thought that we think while we are doing this kind of very unimportant job. If I have to do something very important, then we put our whole mind. So I'm not talking about those jobs. I'm talking about those
Yeah.
jobs which needs very little awareness. Very little awareness.
Mm-hmm.
In those aspects of in those jobs, what you need to do, just you are brushing your teeth and just observe you brushing the teeth. Just observe how this whole process is happening. You will see each and every process is happening very perfectly by your body. Then you will be amazed to see how everything is working on its own without your help. Everything is so perfect in their own way. Then you
Mm.
will
Okay.
be more encouraged to observe while you are cooking. You will see you have just given a command that I need to cook this, And
Yes.
and then you just get lost into all other thoughts. So while
Yeah.
now what you have to do is you have to just give a command that I need to cook, and just see what your body is doing, what your mind is doing. You will see that they are so perfect. They're so perfect. So all the actions are happening, and you are just the observer, observing. As you are doing it, then you will see that this observation is spreading. It's spreading, and it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
slowly it's going, and then you will see that suddenly you will realize that when you are talking to your boss in your office, which needs too much attention, then also you will see that this whole thing is happening on its own while you are watching yourself, and you will see that your boss has become very happy with you. You might not be able to make him happy all your life, but while you're watching yourself doing nothing, while you're watching yourself talk to your boss, you will see your boss has become very happy with you. In the same way, all the actions that we do, important actions, you will see that they have become more and more effective. So this is how you might practice uh, unattachment.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I
Thank you.
understand. Thank you.
Pranam
Segment.
Swamiji.
Yeah.
Aini here.
Yes, Aini, how are you?
I'm fine, I'm good.
And
Okay, to just follow up with what you just said. If it is if it's doing work which is not requiring so much of mind or attention, that's I think a lot simpler to manage, I think. But when you mention about having to consciously use the whole mind to the task that you need to do, then it's a bit more challenging to make sure that you don't become um
distracted, yes.
yeah, so that is the challenge. Like you say, you are driving, you have to make sure that you are focused, that you don't get into any accident. In my case, if I'm teaching, I need to be focused enough to be able to ensure that what I'm teaching is the right thing, or I'm actually able to handle anything that comes up from my students. So how do I do that based on what you just shared?
Yeah, actually, you don't need to do it. What I said was, while you're practicing unattachment, while doing some insignificant work, some very, some those work which does not need too much attention, you have to do up to this, that, those work which does not need too much attention, too much of your effort, in those actions, just keep this observation. You will see this observation is going to expand on its own. Try to follow this one, without without making a conscious effort of observing something. Just let that observation happen on its own. So that observation will happen on its own when you will have a very good practice while doing stuff which are not important. You will see while doing this, your unattachment is slowly, getting more and more coverage. Your unattachment is getting more and more coverage. Like when you're driving, you are becoming unattached. When you're entering the school, you are becoming unattached. When you're talking to the children, you are becoming unattached. Then suddenly one day you will observe that while you are teaching, you were supposed to be focused on the things you are teaching, but while you are teaching, you have completely become unattached from that process of teaching. And you will be amazed to see that that day was the best, in your whole teaching career. The day when you could teach with with being completely unattached, that day was the best day of your teaching. That day your student, you will see that 100% of your student have followed what you wanted to say. But this will happen on its own, not naturally. Let it happen on its own. Don't put too much effort on this. Don't get stressed out about unattachment. How well I'm doing this. No, no, no. Just be, very relaxed and start to practice unattachment where, you know, you are you're performing very insignificant work. Even when you go to sleep, just lie down and just see yourself lying down. Just try to become, just try to enjoy your. We don't enjoy. We just lie down and we want to sleep. Lie down and try to enjoy that you're in the bed finally, relaxed. See your body to be completely relaxed. Feel your body to be completely relaxed. Move your hands and see how relaxed you are, how beautiful it is. How uh, means how peaceful it is to just be in the bed, while there is no other job. you know what we do is, while we are going to sleep, then also we are kind of stressed out. Like, I need to sleep soon, I have to wake up early, this and that. But here, or whether I need to go to sleep because it might happen that I cannot sleep. But don't worry about any of the things, just lie down and enjoy your time. Just enjoy your being in that way, being relaxed. You will see slowly get you will get go to sleep, and that sleep will also be the best sleep you had ever had. So start start. you know After some time, you will say that, Swamiji, yes, I am completely unattached from each and every work that I do, and my quality of life has increased, my quality of friends have increased, my quality of work has increased, my quality of returns has increased. Everything is going to increase. My quality of devotion has increased. My quality of knowledge has increased. Everything will increase. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji. It's very beautiful explanation.
Thank,
Swamiji,
yes.
so what different about an attachment with mindfulness?
Uh, it does not have too much difference. Actually, when you are practicing mindfulness, you are, doing the same thing. You are observing the mind. You're getting involved completely in the mind. You're getting involved completely into the actions. But while you are doing this, you will see that you are actually not getting involved in those actions. You are actually doing the opposite. While getting involved in everything that you do, you will see that actually the opposite is happening. You are not getting involved anywhere. You are becoming, free from all involvements. You're becoming free from all involvement. So, practicing unattachment and mindfulness also is the same thing. Here, you know we might just term it in a different way, and we might approach it in a different way, but the result is the same. It has got the same result.
Swamiji, we can also
Okay, thank you, Swamiji.
like not to expect anything. Like
Yeah. So, expect and unexpected expectation and unexpectation. It's
attachment, then
it is
it will not grow attachment.
yeah, it is comes later on. Just be aware of what you're doing. That's all. Remain aware of what you're doing.
Okay, Swamiji.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji.
So,
Thank you, Swamiji.
Chika, are you satisfied? Because
Yes,
you
thank
you
you.
are
It's very
you
beautiful explanation.
you invited
Thank
us,
you.
so your satisfaction is the prime objective of ours.
Hope we all can practice the unattachment.
Thank you very much. Let's
Thank you.
meditate and we go then, huh? Let's meditate for some time.
Okay.
Thank you.